Are you looking for ideas on what your first house in Enshrouded should be? Well, here is a simple stone starter house to get started on your adventure into Enshrouded. So the materials for this starter house are of course simple to find, because otherwise it wouldn't really be a simple starter house. But the materials are mostly stone for the walls, the first floor or the ground floor. And then you have a little bit of wood just for the details, so it's not really wood heavy. And then you have flint for the chimney and the roof. All of these materials can be found in the starter area of Enshrouded before you even cross the bridge. Like flint can be found pretty much everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but like flint is pretty easy to find in the starter area. Stone is of course actually everywhere. And then wood, well, again, you don't really need a lot of it. I think you need like 5 trees or something. Of course, for like the interior with like all the furniture and such, you would need some extra materials, but then the interior is all basically up to you on what you want. I decided to go for basically 4 rooms if you include the attic as a room, and the attic is just a bedroom with a desk for writing or something. It's not functional, it's just pretty. But yeah, the entire building is pretty much just a pretty rectangle with actually a side rectangle, because I didn't want the door or the main door to immediately lead into the main building. I wanted to kind of have an entrance area. Again, just to be pretty, because the only thing you really do in a house is cook and sleep through the night. Which I didn't know was a feature, because in the not early access, in the betas and such, that wasn't a feature, I think, but I don't know for sure. Let me know down below in the comments if that was like a feature earlier on in like all of the tests and alphas and everything. Pretty much, as I said, a rectangle with a side rectangle, or actually a side square, where it's just like an entrance area. I made one big window in that entrance area just because lighting in Enshrouded is really great, and it's really pretty to see it just go through the windows. And for the windows and such, it's also just wood. Like this is supposed to be like the first house, or one of the first houses that you would build. But anyways, I also wanted to kind of know if you guys are enjoying Enshrouded, if you are playing it. I am really enjoying it. I'm also enjoying being a dumbass in it and just going insane. Also, this build was made with the nerd crew on our mayhem. I didn't think that I was going to build a fancy house there. I really thought like, oh yeah, I'm going to build some shacks around, because like the main idea for the nerd crew mayhem is pretty much just like, let's just be idiots and see what our adventures go through. And then immediately was just like, yeah, I'm going to build a house first, and I'm not going to really care about anything else for a bit. Which, I mean, as I'm a builder in Planet Zoo, yeah, that wasn't surprising that the first thing that I tried to do was just like, yeah, let's build a house. I should probably have made... I mean, you can make this house out of wood. Although, because of that, if you make this house completely out of wood, it does lose that little bit of like the detail accents of the wood, because then, of course, everything is wood. But you can then maybe make like the detail accents of stone, but I don't know how well that is going to look. But you can try it. But anyways, as I said, rectangle with a side rectangle, and then there's pretty much 3 rooms in the building. So that you have the entrance area, room. I didn't put doors in the building itself. There's only a front door, because I kind of like that more openness of it. But 3 rooms, entrance area. Then you have like the main room. Maybe you can call it a living room. It just has my crafting bench and a table, because it makes sense to just have a table there with some chairs, some plates and such to make it feel cozy. And then in the back, this was actually supposed to be the sleeping room or bedroom. I don't know why I said sleeping room, but that was supposed to be the bedroom. But then I realized, yeah, with the roof on top, there's going to be quite a lot of space there as well. So why don't I just make the second floor or first floor a little bit higher, so that it still looked good as a room on itself. And then I just moved the bedroom up there and made the back room, the kitchen, because it just looks pretty. And it also gave me like an idea of like, oh, where would I add the chimney for the fireplace? Now, you don't need a chimney in Enshrouded. This is not Valheim where you need to think about like smoke and such. So you can just place like a fireplace everywhere and you don't need an actual chimney. But I like that realism aspect of like, yeah, this would have a chimney. And I also like that it just gave a little bit more dimension on the outside because the chimney, of course, sticks out a little bit from the wall. Now, the chimney I did make out of the flintstone just so that it is a separate vibe or a separate look compared to the main walls, because otherwise it would just kind of blend into the wall. Even though it sticks out from the wall, just because it's a separate material, it sticks out even a bit more. And especially on like the side, like the left side and the back side of this building, it is a pretty much plain wall there. Yes, there's windows, but the main like accent pieces are in the front, of course, with that extension to the side for the entrance. The front also has a little bit of like a bay window idea, where the big window in the front is a little bit offset from the main wall. Now, I could have made this a little bit bigger, but then it would kind of go into the stairs for the entrance, because I did make like a sort of terrace for the entrance to just further set that apart from the rest. Now, when it comes to the stairs to the second floor or first floor, I always count the ground floor as a floor, and I never think of like the word ground floor, so I will probably refer to the first floor as second floor a lot of the times. But just to give the stairs a little bit more depth, I actually made the wall underneath the stairs like 2 blocks thicker, so that it's like if you have the stairs, which are 3 blocks, then the last block away from the wall, that is free floating, but the second and first block away from the wall, those are then supported by the walls, which you don't really need to have, but it looked a little bit prettier and added a little bit more weight to the stairs. And then it's of course building what you could consider the first floor, or what I constantly will refer to as the second floor. But yeah, I really enjoy building in Enshrouded, and I really didn't think I was going to do it on just like the mayhem playthrough. Like, I fully expected to go crazy with building on like, you know, my private server. I think you call it a private server, but just like my private playthrough, and just like have a lot of houses there. And so yeah, this was totally unexpected. So you will see like basically like all of the other people of the nerd crew just like go around in the background. Also, just to go back into the building portion, when it comes to the fireplace, I did give it a little bit more weight, so that I wanted to have like the fireplace underneath it, and wanted to have how do you call it? Usually it's a beam that goes over the top of the fireplace where you can like put things on. You could actually make this into like a storage area by putting the chests up there. I didn't do that because I like the idea of like, you know how some people like they collect like Chinaware and they have like plates set up in like cupboards and such to like show off like the china. I wanted to kind of have that idea, so I basically just made that area above the fireplace and gave it like a few like cups. I wanted to actually put plates on there, but the plates are, I mean, they're wooden plates right now. I assume that there's also china plates and maybe metal plates, but that's probably late game or later game, because again, this is really like one of the first houses that you can build, because it uses, as I said before, all of the materials can be found in the earliest stages of the game. Like right off the get-go, as soon as you wake up, these are the materials that you can find around the valley. But anyways, I added another, well, can you call it the bay window? I don't think so, but just added a little bit of like an extended window on the back on the first floor, because it's, I think, 4 blocks before the roof starts. but I wanted to have windows here because otherwise it would just feel very claustrophobic. Now, if you like this video so far, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. Again, this house is just like, yeah, you go here in between adventures to sleep and maybe cook up some food. You could actually, like, I put the blacksmith outside, but you could easily just put him in the living room. You could eventually then also build like a full smithy for him. But hey, this is starter. You'd probably, well, I wouldn't actually put it past people to like immediately build a smithy for him. He seems like a really friendly guy. He also gives me Santa vibes. Yes, just because he has a beard that is like older guy, I'm immediately just like, Santa! But anyways, so as I said, for the roof, I just used the shingles, like the flint shingles, because I didn't want a wooden roof, because I wanted this to really be that like stone vibe. I kind of imagine as like a stonemason vibe. That just the entire building is stone with like a few wooden accents. And I kind of approached the building for Enshrouded as building in Minecraft. Because it is all blocks. You can use like the blueprint mode with the, construction hammer. But I was just like, yeah, I like the control that I have when I place it block by block. Now, I will say, building the roof is a little bit tedious, just because it's like, if you put it at like a wrong place, this makes it sound like, oh, Poison doesn't know anything, because like, of course, if you place the block in the wrong place, it's not going to look right. But it's just, it's a little bit weird when it comes to building. Now, I will probably get a hang on this very quickly, but yeah, for the roof, I did use the blueprints just because it's like such a large area and I needed to get it all smooth. And then that's why the blueprints with the construction hammer do really work well. It's just like with the roof, the tiny parts that are a little bit more difficult. But yeah, the extended area for the entrance, of course, also has the slanted roof. And I did add the beams underneath the roof on the first floor just because it gave it, again, a lot more depth. Like, that's the main thing with the building, is just like add layers to your building. Like, don't have just like one block of a wall. If you want depth, kind of approach it like Minecraft, where you need to have like a wall that is maybe like 2 blocks thick or maybe even 3, so that you can add that dimension to the walls and to actually also the roof. Although for this build, it's supposed to again be a starter thing, so it's supposed to be kind of simple. Like, the main thing for the roof is just like, oh yeah, there's a chimney, which is legit just a pile of stones or just a tower of stones, because you don't really need a chimney. It's just there for me so that it looks a little bit prettier. And then I didn't actually put dormers in. I just made a little bit of a hole in the lower parts of the wall. You will see this later, where the windows on the side of the walls are going to be. But also, this is just a tip from me, but don't make it so that you're, well, unless it's like a specific style that you're maybe going for, but it usually looks a bit prettier if the roof extends a little bit from the wall. Again, having that dimension of like, oh yeah, make it a little bit like of a thicker wall so that you can build accents and dimension into it. But have it so that the roof overhangs by like 1 block, makes it look a little bit more real in my opinion. But anyways, then it's just trying to finish the roof, because while the blueprints are great, they, of course, you know, you need to tweak them a little bit sometimes just to get it right. And this is where the finicky bit of the roof comes into play. Maybe for you guys the roof isn't finicky and I'm just the one complaining, but it's not finicky in the way of like, oh, it's difficult. It's just like, yeah, you need to keep in mind like where basically you're building a staircase but out of roof pieces and then they slant by themselves, which is a really nice mechanic. But I am a squirrel and my brain sometimes is just like, I don't know if the stair of the roof started on this block or this block. But yeah, the main thing when it came to this roof was that with the blueprint, it kind of went, well, I put it 1 block higher than where the beams and such were. So I needed to raise up the walls on the angled bit so that it actually wasn't a floating roof. But because with the blueprints, I needed to then delete the roof on the points of the wall because the blueprint or the roof was covering it at that point. So I needed to delete portions of the roof and then build it back up. But in the end, it did work. Here you will see a little bit of my finickiness, especially because I wanted that overhang, as I mentioned before. But you sometimes need to go into, well, build in weird places just to get up high enough. There's a lot of like, you just build towers out of like the wooden blocks. I made way too many of those wooden blocks because I thought I would use them a lot more. Like I thought I was going to do like the timber framing, but I actually like this house better without it. And it actually also makes a lot more sense to not have that for like a starter house. Because it makes sense that you don't want to like spend entirely collecting resources in the first area. More pretty building stuff is usually later in the game where you get access to a lot more materials and such. But yeah, when it came to the rest of the house, I did want to add like sort of supports because the second floor actually on the sides where there isn't, well, actually on every side but the front and back as far as I remember. But the second floor, the first floor extends over by 1 block. So I wanted to first add supports for that as well. But yes, I only extended the wall on the first floor on the sides, not in the back and the front. So it's a little bit wider on the first floor. But anyways, then I needed to chip out where I actually put my fireplace and then build a chimney from that. Now, as I said before, I made this out of flintstone just so that it's a little bit like more visible or visibly separate from the rest of the house. Because if I made this out of stone, it would just sort of melt into the house. Whereas if you make it out of a different material, it just stands out. Also, don't forget to like find like the beehives and the fireflies, because you will need to make some lights. That's like the one thing to really cozy up your house, is just have a lot of candles in the beginning. I just went around, like I cut this out of the video, all of this, but I just went around collecting fireflies and collecting bees. Funnily enough, I've not been attacked by the bees yet, and I've taken out multiple beehives. But I was just like chilling along and bees didn't attack me. Does this mean I'm now freaking Snow White and the animals love me? No, because I was attacked by wolves. So no, I didn't fulfill my dreams of becoming a Disney princess. Maybe next time. I did add a little bit of a pillar to the front because I wanted a candle there. I could have easily put like one of those wall torches there, and later on I did put one there. But I still kept the candle just because I liked the just vibe that it gave. A lot of this build is just vibes. Just trying to make this stone rectangle cozy. So this is where you need like a lot of like wood, plant, fire and such. You need string and all of it to like make all of the furniture. I forgot the word for furniture for a second. But this is where you need like other materials such as resin and such to make all of the furniture, to make it a little bit more cozy. Of course, you needed a bedside table because wood doesn't have that. Well, probably a lot, but it looks a lot better with a just bedside table. And also just another place to put a candle. Like this is just Candle Valley by this point. Adding some plates and some mugs. Here again, throwing in the mugs. And that's pretty much it. But you can make this house cozy however you want. It's pretty much just a simple rectangle. Ground floor, first floor. First floor is 4 blocks. I think the ground floor is like 6. no, 7 blocks high, just to give it a little bit of height, because otherwise it will feel a little bit cramped. But anyways, that's going to be it for this build. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next video. Anyways, have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.